The Fisherman and the Sprat. The sea was quiet that morning, too quiet. A low mist clung to the surface like a secret waiting to be revealed, and an old fisherman weathered by decades of rising tides and fading hopes cast his net into the stillness. He wasn't searching for fortune anymore. He simply wanted a catch, any catch, to remind him that the sea hadn't forgotten him. Minutes dragged like hours. The rope felt lighter than it should. And as he pulled the net toward his boat, his heart sank. Only one small creature flickered inside the mesh, a tiny sprat, no longer than his thumb, shimmering helplessly. But then something unexpected happened. The sprat spoke. Its voice was small, tremulous, but unmistakably clear. "Please spare me. Let me grow. One day I'll come back to you larger, worth far more than I am now." The fisherman froze. The mist around him seemed to thicken, as though the sea itself was listening. He stared at the sprat, stunned not just by its words, but by the promise it carried, a promise of someday, a promise of more. For a heartbeat, he imagined it, a future where the sea rewarded him, where patience paid off, where tomorrow held brighter offerings than today. But tomorrow could not be eaten. He looked at his empty bucket, at the nets worn thin at his hands, calloused, cracked, aching. "Little one," he murmured, "I've lived long enough to know that a promise is just wind, and wind cannot fill a man's stomach." The sprat wriggled desperately, its silver scales catching the pale morning light like splintered stars. "But if you let me go!" The fisherman shook his head, gentle but firm. "A small certainty," he said quietly, "is worth more than a great uncertainty." With that, he placed the sprat into his bucket, not cruelly, not triumphantly, but solemnly, like a man making peace with the world as it is, not as it might someday be. The mist slowly lifted. Waves lapped against the boat in soft, rhythmic applause. And as he rowed back toward shore, the fisherman didn't feel victorious. He simply felt grounded, anchored in the hard truth that life often comes down to choosing between what is promised and what is present. And that morning, he chose the present. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to help the channel grow.